Welcome to the Face Yoga Podcast. I'm Kari, your host, Face Yoga Instructor, Yoga Instructor. My mission is to help you figure out the routines to reach your health and beauty goals naturally for your face and body. Today we're going to be talking about results, how to get results from face yoga. What are the results from face yoga? Can you really get results? How long does it take? So we're going to get into that a little bit. So I just wanted to start off by saying it depends. It depends. I know no one wants to hear that. It depends on the situation. So let's just break this down a little bit. So in terms of results, we are going to have short-term, kind of immediate results, and then long-term, more ultimate, bigger results. So how long can it take to have either of these? When I'm talking about instantaneous results, we can even notice instant results from massage or from exercise within minutes, within hours, within a day, a few days. We can notice instant results. Now, the more ultimate, longer term results, those can take weeks, months, years. To be honest, this is the area where I don't see too much of the difference with the rest of our body. So if we start an exercise program, New Year's resolution, how long do we expect results? How long does it take to get results? What's the time scale for that? It's going to depend on the person. It's going to depend on what they're doing. It's going to depend on their diet, and it's going to depend on, their consistency. And I think the consistency is really the key here. It's also the hardest part probably, and probably the most boring part, is kind of pushing through that, getting out of the habit and falling back out of it and falling back into it. And, I get out of the habit of things all the time. Just want to put that out there. Like, I'll even get out of the habit of doing face massage or face exercises, face yoga. That will happen a lot for me. It's just about getting back up and going. So this is actually an interesting analogy. Lately, I've been returning to my previous hobby of figure skating. I did figure skating when I was a girl, a young teenager. And I competed a little bit, some of those competitions, figure skating competitions. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. And lately, I don't know, since my most recent experience having a miscarriage and my mom's passing, I don't know, I've just had this desire to go back to the ice rink and ice skate. So I bought some skates a few weeks ago and I started ice skating again. I've only been a little bit, but I've been watching videos about it as well, and I'm pretty excited about it. So why am I bringing up ice skating? Well, I remember watching a video lately about ice skating and how often people fall. Now, I don't really remember falling all that much. I definitely have fallen for sure, but I guess because I was a kid, I don't know, I just don't remember all that much. I was kind of young. But basically it was saying in the video, if you fall in a competition, during an ice skating competition, come right back up. Get right back up and just resume your routine. Otherwise, the judges are going to dock points, if you kind of wallow in your pain or if you don't get back up. So obviously, if you're super injured, that's a different story. But in terms of, falling off of your jump or whatever, just falling, get back up and get back in there. And I think that's a really good metaphor for exercise, fitness, wellness goals, all of these difficult things that we want to achieve. If you fall off, just get back up. Just like an ice skater. Just get back up from the ice and continue on in your routine. It's okay if you went 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's okay. Just keep going. That resilience, it's really important to have that resilience. So same thing with face yoga. If you're getting into a routine of it and then you fall out of the routine, get back up. It's okay. Get back up. Even if it's been weeks, months, years, just get back up. In terms of more of the detail around results and the changes to expect and to see, the more instant results, the ones that we experience, maybe if we do a massage or if we do an exercise, those are going to work on the slightly more superficial levels of the face. So more of the skin or the muscle of the face. And it's not going to be working on your bones as much, right? If you're doing an exercise, let's say you're doing a bicep curl or you're doing a tricep dip or something, after you do the exercise, it's very likely that you'll notice kind of a swelling of that muscle. It's going to pump, right? Like having a pumped muscle. That's like an instant result. So that doesn't mean that that muscle is now permanently going to be in that size forever. No, it's not. It's been pumped by the exercise. And so similarly on our face, you might notice after doing a face exercise, especially after doing the face exercise classes that I teach, I definitely notice a pump, like a little pump, maybe on my lips or under my eyelids or, on my cheeks or something. And that's kind of an instant result. I think those are kind of nice to use maybe if you want to pamper a little bit. So let's say you're going to a fancy dinner in the next day or, in 2 days. Then you can always add a few more face exercises to those couple of days. And it will probably increase and give a little bit of a pump to this area or that area. So that's kind of nice. But that doesn't mean that that pump is now there forever. Just like with your biceps, if you never exercise your biceps ever again after exercising them for a few days, the pump is not going to stay there forever. I mean, there's also a difference between like a muscle pump and then the muscle tissue itself actually like growing. So we need to add a little bit of stress to grow muscle, a little bit of load. So the consistency is going to lead to that growth and that like ultimate result. So doing a cheek pump for 2 days is definitely going to pump up the cheeks. Doing a cheek pump almost every day for a year is definitely going to have an influence on the cheeks that would last even if you stopped for a few weeks, I would say. If you check out podcast episode 3 with Rhonda, she talks about this, and some of the other experts touch on this, about how bone responds to muscle. So our bones actually respond to the muscle. It's not just the muscle responding to the bone. We'll get into that a little bit more later because I'm still wrapping my head around that. But essentially, one way to think about it is that where the muscle grows, the bone will respond to that, and the bone will kind of grow in response to that. So if we are working on our cheek muscles here, for example, next to the nose, under the eyes, those cheek muscles. And if we're exercising them, building them, massaging them, strengthening them, stretching them, strengthening, really like making them very fit. The bone underneath those cheeks will need to respond to the new muscle there. And there's something called mechanoreceptors in our bones. These are receptors that respond to load, to mechanical load. They actually have a response to that. So our jaw is another example. If we're chewing hard foods, difficult foods to chew, kale, that sort of thing, apples, just, unprocessed foods, that's going to be a lot of load on the jaw. The jaw responds to that, and the bone of the jaw will respond and grow more. It's debatable, and maybe there can be more of a conversation with an expert, for example, or in the literature around how much growth can occur for an adult versus, say, a child. I think it's undoubtedly easier and faster for a child, given that they're in a growing state. But it most certainly can still happen for adults, for people who are fully grown. Our bodies are still moving, they're still responding to stimulus, they're still responding to the environment. So if you lay down a bunch of muscle on your front cheeks, underneath your eyes, next to your nose, if you lay down a bunch of muscle there, the bone there is not going to have any other choice but to respond to that new muscle being laid down. And that's going to take months. That's going to take years, right? So we're not going to expect that result immediately. That's going to take a long time. And crucially, just like with body exercise, we're not expecting to do abs or do glute exercises for 1 month and then that's it. We should have a result. No, like it takes regularity, like every day or like every other day for years, and then still it needs to be done. Otherwise, the muscle will atrophy and the muscle will go away. So this is kind of a forever thing, and this is why it's so important to figure out a sustainable way that works for us. We don't expect to just go to the gym for 6 months and then have a fit body for the rest of our lives. That's not gonna happen. That's just not how it works. And likewise, to keep our faces fit and healthy, there's going to be some practices that we're going to need to do every day. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to need to do the same exact exercises always, every day, forever, although there might be some of those. But definitely, have an open mind to the reality that to keep it looking and feeling healthy and youthful, yeah, it's going to be a forever practice, most certainly. So what I would recommend and what I always say to people and what I actually did myself, if you want to test this, if you want to test face yoga, I would commit to 10 to 15 minutes per day for 2 weeks. Pick an area, pick a few exercises, a few massages, a few movements that you can commit to for 10 to 15 minutes per day for 2 weeks, for 14 days. It can be in the morning, it can be at night, it can be in the lunchtime, it can be 5 minutes at all, in the morning, 5 minutes midday, 5 minutes at the end of the day. Just do it for 2 weeks and just see what happens. Commit to a couple of different areas. Check it out, try it out. Pretty much got nothing to lose. Give it a go. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a difference and feel a difference. It might not be huge. It might be huge. It depends on what you do, and it depends on if you are doing it properly or if you're doing it mindfully, and if you kind of know which areas to work on. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I can help with, help you demystify. If you want me to help you make a routine, just for you, a very specific routine, I'm happy to do that. I do that with my one-to-one clients, but we also do routines in my face exercise classes. They do involve massages as well. It's mostly exercises, but it's a really great class. You can check those out on my website, either one-to-ones or classes or recorded classes. You can always buy a recording of a class if you want to try that out. And of course, check out my YouTube and my TikTok. There's lots of exercises and exercise videos, routines that you can try and do. And yeah, pick a few, pick 1 or 2 even, and do them for a few days. Then do another one for a few days. Do it for 2 weeks and see if there's a difference. And most importantly, I can't believe I haven't said this yet, you got to take a before photo before you do this. If you do it, which I hope you do, I really hope you do. Tag me in it if you do. Take a before photo and take an after photo, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on noticing the differences. Trust me, it's really important. So hopefully this area of tracking facial differences grows more. I think it's starting to. It's a hard thing to track, to measure the results properly for this area, but it's definitely real. They're definitely happening. Instantaneous results. Yeah, you'll have instantaneous results. And that's fine. That's just like with the body. That's good. We want that. That's okay. That's part of the process. But ultimately, that's getting us closer to our ultimate results and to our longer results. With our longer term results, we're working on the bigger muscular changes, the balance, the relative dimensions, and the relative proportions of the areas in the face, the jaw in proportion to the cheeks in proportion to the forehead, all these different relative proportions, bones, muscle on the face. With the instantaneous results, it's probably more working on the level of the fascia. The fascia can give kind of a more instant result. But then long term, releasing the fascia is going to have definitely a long-term result. So there's so many little aspects to this that you can't really convince yourself out of it. There's going to be instant results and long-term results. There's going to be no results if you don't do any of it. There's definitely going to be 0 results. So that's kind of the long and the short of it. I really recommend 2 weeks. Give it a go. See how it goes. And I would say, try to take progress photos at least 3 or 4 times a year. If you're going to commit to this, if you want to do this for a year, for 2 years, if you're doing it for that long, you're probably going to do it forever. But definitely try to keep records of your progress. And I would dare to say that if you're doing it, if you're in it for a longer haul, you're going to want to take photos. You're going to be more inclined to have photos of yourself. It's likely. Hey, we're all different, but I've certainly been more confident, way more confident since doing face yoga. So much more confident. Confident not wearing as much makeup. Confident not doing my hair as much. Confident not wearing as fancy clothes or, fancy jewelry. I almost never wear jewelry now. I don't know. I'm focusing on a different area to, to work on. So yeah, definitely give yourself the chance to see your progress, experience your progress. And people will notice it as well. People will definitely notice it. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this question about face yoga results. Have you experienced any? Are there any results that you want to experience or that you've heard of other people having? Definitely check out my episode coming out soon with Rhonda and her results. She's the airway health champion, and she has really reached some incredible results on her own, pretty much on her own, listening to experts, reading the right books, learning the right information. She's really made a big difference for herself, and she shares her story. I think it's important to have role models. It's like we need that. We need people that we look up to. I need people to look up to. You need people to look up to. Who do we want to emulate? Who fires us up? Who gets us motivated? That's what keeps me in the game. Keeps me motivated to surround myself with people who motivate me and to expose myself to people who motivate me and who I want to be more like. That keeps me wanting to get the results. I remember I was learning about pretty sure she's a power lifter. She's some sort of weightlifter. Well known. I forgot her name. Maybe I'll have her on the podcast. I'll have to look her up though. I forgot her name, but I listened to an interview of this woman who has been weightlifting for years. I mean, years and years and years. And her consistency, like some of the trainers that she works with, like other trainers that she works with, were saying that her consistency was super respectable. That she would do it every day. Every day she would train. She wouldn't miss a day. I mean, I'm not advocating that that's what everyone needs to do, but it's more of the concept of it, of having that consistency. There's many a times when I will do face massage and I don't bloody want to. I'm not very keen to. I don't really want to. Can't be bothered. I make myself do it. I kind of psych myself into doing it. And I almost do it in a way where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I'll almost say to myself, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then after a few minutes, I'm enjoying it and I'm doing it. And then I've done it and it's great and it's over. And then the next day I want to do it and it's okay. So that might take weeks. That might take months. That might take a little time. So be patient. If you want to increase the speed at which you see the more ultimate, the bigger results, the deeper results, definitely working more on the psychological, spiritual part of face yoga, meditation, concentration, breath work, and self-awareness, working more in that area. It's like hacking your brain to be able to do all the other things. So that's something that I need to work on a little bit more. So hopefully you'll join me on that and maybe we'll make some more episodes about that. So I hope this was enjoyable. I hope this was informative. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, your messages. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for listening to the Face Yoga Podcast with me, your host, Kari Cordier. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy face yogaing. Goodbye.